last night in Minnesota, I don't know quite what happened, but I do know that it was something that I did not see. No! God. Jeez.
Easy, Ant.
No kidding.
Dude, 11 points in a quarter in an NBA playoff game should almost be an automatic eliminator.
The game should be
just
done.
end it.
Over.
Like that's like a skunk rule. Like
the
just
run rule.
go home.
Yeah.
You scored 11 points in an NBA quarter.
Clearly,
You're an
not
NBA team
ready to play this game.
with everybody healthy,
So,
and you scored 11 points in the second quarter.
There's a lot here. The Warriors just seemingly are now the Spurs and Bulls. Every role guy they get that's good becomes even better. Hey, Andrew Wiggins, been nothing but a bust. Going to be the key figure for us winning a championship. Yeah. Gary Payton II, projected by nobody to be a good NBA player.
No.
Hey, look at that. Big defensive stopper, key threes in big moments. Hey, Buddy Hield, you can shoot it, but you don't shoot it when you're in Philadelphia. Now you shoot it all the time and you make it. Something about them that annoys me, and I hate when there's certain teams that they just, and I know it's Curry, man. He's Jordan. It's like, that's not it. That's not the answer. But damn it, it does happen a lot.
I mean, he played 13 minutes last night, and they won the game in incredibly easy fashion.
Going away fashion.
I
think it got cut to 8 at one point, but it was like, okay, there's another 3.
Yeah, they would always respond whenever it came relatively close. I had the dual screen going, mostly watching hockey at that point because it was a 2-2 game in the third period, and you're like, all right, they cut it to 9. All right, there's a Golden State bucket to respond. Like, that's the funny part. We did this kind of with Jokic when they won Game 7 in Denver against the Clippers, and you read the stat line and said, if I told you that on Friday, what would your response be? And I'd say, well, there's no chance Denver's going to win that game. But they did. All the role players had really good performances. And if you would have told me yesterday on the show, hey, Steph Curry's going to leave the game after 13 minutes with a hamstring injury, what do you think the final score is in Game 1? Say they probably lose by 15 to 17 points.
Yeah.
Like, no, I maybe they cover, but no chance in hell they're going to win the game, let alone control the game the entire way. Minnesota had a horrible second quarter. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn to save their life. And then Golden State came out hot in the third. Even when Minnesota woke up a little bit offensively, they matched them point for point, and they still outscored them in the third. And so you get that level of production from multiple guys to pick up the slack from what you lost with Curry. I don't know how the rest of the series goes, but that was a if I'm a Minnesota Timberwolves fan, I'm depressed today. That was a really bad way to lose a game. It's one thing to be competitive back and forth and somebody goes for 40 or 50. They scored 31 points in the first half of a playoff game. 31 points in the first half of a game.
Yeah.
How
88
often?
total.
88
I
total.
Mean, 88 in a game is even awful.
At least they went for 29-28 in the third and fourth quarter, but 31 in the first. How many times that happened in the history of the NBA playoffs? You got to go back to when there were plumbers in the league to find 31 in a half.
I think there were some of those Bulls Jazz finals when it was awful.
They were not very high score. Yeah, that's the thing about
I know,
that.
31 though is that's college. That's bad for college basketball.
Swag's right.
86-78 in Game 3
with
or
4 minutes to go. That's the score with 4 minutes to go. I just, in rewatching the first half, because I saw the second half, I think I'm just blown away as how lifeless they
just
look.
didn't show up. They didn't seem to care.
You cannot be shirtless on a couch saying, who am I scared of now? I want the Warriors.
And then have no juice when it...
No juice at all. Here was Charles Barkley saying how I'm a big Ant guy. So this kind of pissed me off. Here's Charles Barkley after the Timberwolves lose.
First of all, you bought all this smoke. You said you wanted to smoke. I want the Warriors. And you got him. And you had 1 point at halftime, and his energy level was down. So that, to me, is what coaching's about. I mean, Shaq's been in this situation. I've been in this situation. When you're the man, you get all the credit, but you get all the blame. That's the way it works. And I like what he did. He said, hey, Anthony's got to play better. You can't come out and talk all that does and have 1 point.
Yeah, here is his coach basically said, everything about us has to do with Ant and the energy and the effort he puts in. And we didn't have it to start the game. Here was Anthony Edwards responding to his coach's comment.
Nah. I feel like I played great defense. I just couldn't do nothing on offense, so.
Thanks for that in-depth answer.
I mean, dude, you cannot have all these quotes.
This happens. You run your mouth. You put a target on your back.
You do. I mean, look, and I'm okay with it. I like athletes largely are cocky. Some of them are just loud cocky, and others are quietly cocky. Duncan was quietly cocky.
Yeah.
But when you're loud cocky and you say what you say, ain't nobody in the league stopping me. What am I scared of now? Oh, bring it on. I want them. 1 point in the first half?
I mean, it's embarrassing. Just couldn't make a shot to save his life and just had no life offensive.
Most of his stats are stat padding garbage.
At the end of the game.
Honestly.
Yeah, when you're down by 20 in the second half. By the way, so I looked it up. We're going to need to fact check this. So I was just curious, can I find the lowest scoring NBA playoff game for a team in the first half?
Sure.
And that, according to StatMuse, was the 5th lowest scoring first half in playoff history. All the other games have happened since 2016.
Wow.
So maybe this is just, I don't know if it's a recent. So the Suns in 2022 against Dallas was 27 points. That's the lowest. Celtics had a game against Atlanta in 2016 where they scored 28. The Mavs last year against the Clippers had a game where they scored 30 in the first half. The Raptors had a game in 2017 where they scored 30 in the first half against the Bucks, and then that game last night, Minnesota scored 31 in the first half against Golden State.
Now, it should be noted, Curry left 13 minutes. He's got a hamstring strain, and Kerr basically made it sound like Steph was super bummed, which tells me definitely not playing game 2.
Yeah, you get the little bit of extra rest. I think you sit him game 2. You got 2 days, and then the travel day bonus going back to Golden State.
Yeah, but hamstrings are not something you test.
It's finicky.
No.
You got to be confident because the minute you test it, it could pull, it could rip. I don't know what to make of this because, again, every prediction I've had about every game feels like it's been wrong. But it's hard to believe, as bad as Minnesota was, it's hard to believe that Golden State's going to be able to win without Steph.
Yeah, I don't see that happening at all. That reminded me, honestly, the funny thing is Minnesota's already had a game like this in the playoffs. They did it in game 2 in L.A.
Yes, they did.
They just completely no-showed in the first quarter. They steal game 1. They're dominant. They come out in game 2. They were outscored by 20 in the first quarter. And then they outplayed L.A. the rest of the game, but it didn't matter because they couldn't dig themselves out of that hole. They scored 15 points in the first quarter of game 2, and that was the only game of that series that they lost. So I'm not writing any of these teams off that lost the first game of the series. It's just more of a, like, where's the energy? Where's the life, man? You're in the second round of the playoffs. You're taking on Steph. You're taking on Golden State. And just to no-show that way, incredibly frustrating. But Minnesota's done this, and they've responded, and I think they'll do it again in this series.
We have a lot to get to in the second hour. We'll roll on with some NBA playoff chatter. I got a college football segment to get to. Our ticker guest is at 7:30, Ryan Stiles, who does Locked On Rylan Styles. That's what I said. Why don't you listen better, Riggins? Rylan.
How about those Wowios last night?
Yep.
Hell of a game for them.
Everybody get their bowl of Wowios this morning?
You eat your Wowios?
I did not get my Wowios.
No Wowios this morning?
Can we be honest? I was thinking about this, and sometimes I don't know why I think of these things. If I was to make a cereal called the Wowios, it'd be Seth Curry on the box and not Steph.
It would have to be. It would have to be. It's like the knockoff.
With a headband.
Like Steph.
Hey, what?
Yeah.
Is that a Curry? Wait, who? What? That's
Wowios.
They're the ones that come in the bag, not the box.
Yes, it's a knockoff brand, the cheap one.